Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reproduce. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your favoritist movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies. I am Kasey B, but for today, I will be known as Wild Thing because I will make your heart sing.
Okay.
But, this is the podcast where we eat the stale popcorn, we drink the watered down sodas, we talk about all of our favorite movies and why we love them. You know, the usual shit. Joining us, as always, each and every week, everybody's favorite co-host, who's not in witness protection, but all the hosts on An Evening at the Movies are loved. But we have Amanda with us, so that way.
What's up?
Say hi.
Hi, co-host.
Amanda is interrupting her busy morning of watching Hell's Kitchen before football to
Yes.
Talk about today's movie with us.
Hell's Kitchen and football, and I gotta find time to do laundry and put together my new stair stepper. So that will be fun.
And how long do you have before the other half goes back out on the road again?
Well, he's leaving tomorrow morning to go to the national championship game without me. And then he'll be back Tuesday, and then he goes out of town like Thursday. So, you know.
How in the blue hell does he get national championship tickets and leave his wife at home for that shit?
We can't afford for both of us to go, and he's going with one of our friends who's like a huge Notre Dame fan. So they're going to go together, and I'm going to sit it out. But I'm okay with that because obviously the Thunder are making the playoffs. I have high hopes that they're making the finals, and if they go to the NBA finals, we're fucking going. So I'm willing to save my money for that. Oh, shut up. I don't know why you don't just embrace the Thunder since you don't have another team yet. It's not our fault they came here.
Yet is the key word. Fucking Adam Silver is dragging his feet on it, but it's coming. I swear to God, it is coming.
Also, side note, if you guys have not tried this Sonic Cherry Limeade drink mix, it's delicious. I mixed it with a lime Topo Chico. Yum.
That actually does sound amazing.
It does. It's really good. It'd be really good with some vodka, but I'm not going to do that yet today.
Well, let's wait until football kicks off. You might need it after.
Yeah.
No, okay. I can honestly say, with one exception. Oh, you're fine. With one exception, yesterday. Honestly, no matter who won this weekend, I'm okay with.
Okay, so let's ask a question real quick. This is just going to be a quick side conversation, but if anybody's watching live and you want to comment, so I'm in a couple of Swiftie groups, and there's people like me who've watched football forever, and there's people who are new to football, and so people will get on there and ask like genuine questions to try to learn stuff. And George and I were kind of talking about this, but people have different opinions, so I want to hear yours. And if anybody else, I mean, we kind of talked about it already, but someone asked.
Bayless thing.
No, fuck him. I'm not even dignifying that with a response. Oh, so somebody asked in the group, why did Kansas City allow that safety? And George and I were both of the same opinion, to cover the spread. Someone from Vegas called and said, this shit better get covered or we're losing a lot of money. And a lot of people were arguing, and not that I think this is a wrong argument, but I think it's kind of a stretch. They were saying to run time off the clock to make sure that that Houston couldn't score off a blocked punt or something. And I'm like, yeah, but the likelihood of that is like almost none, and you were
Okay.
up by 2 scores.
So my response to that is, if that was the case, then Troy Aikman would have clearly stated and explained on TV what exactly was happening.
Oh, okay.
Troy Aikman last night, when it happened, oh, look, Kansas City's taking a safety in the end zone. We all know what's happening, wink, wink.
hmm
And that was basically the end of the conversation.
Well,
So at the end
Troy
of the,
Aikman bugs me anyway.
oh, he does. I cannot stand him and Joe Buck individually or together. But
You
the
know
fact,
who's becoming a good sportscaster? Tommy. I actually don't mind listening to him. I mean, obviously, I like to look at him, but
I'm
him
curious
and
to,
Jason.
I'm curious. I really, honest to God, like Jason as a commentator. I think they need to put him in the damn booth and not on pregame.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
agree. I bet they
but
will at some point.
I'm curious to see how the Tom thing is going to work out next year, because even being a minority owner of said Raiders,
Yeah, you can't.
how
Yeah,
how is that going to work out? Because I mean, I could see the, I guess you could say, conflict of interest,
yeah.
but and then I see other smart ass comments where, oh well, it's not like it's the first time Brady's cheated before.
Well, but all it is commentary. I mean, yeah, you don't want the conflict of interest, but it's not like he's going to affect the outcome of the game. I mean, they let Kirk Herbstreit call Ohio State games, and he went there and is never shy about his fandom for them. So,
True.
I mean, they don't let him do
Which
it often, but I've seen it. So, I
no,
don't know. Yeah, the problem with putting Jason in the booth is he would have to wear a suit, and I don't know if we could get him to do that. Did you see what he was wearing yesterday? He looked so freaking cute.
that furry kind
Yes.
of heavy flannel.
And the hat. He looked like he was about to go
Hey,
to Fargo.
hey, I would like to know whose boot he licked to get assigned the Kansas City game yesterday.
Right. Well, I think they want that because it's just it's more commentary to it's to bring
Hmm.
more attention to Travis Kelsey, which brings more attention to the team and gets maybe a possible chance for people to hear something about Taylor Swift, which is another reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, that some people watch. Um, I did notice they weren't showing her as much, which I think she has asked for, honestly, because it's like she can't win for losing in that situation. Like people
She
want to
can't.
see her and people don't want to see her, and she's just there to support her man. So I'm like, yeah, leave her alone. Show her once or twice, but not because I don't want to see her. I'd love to watch her face the entire game. But it's like let her have some privacy. She's not there as a celebrity guest. She's there to support her boyfriend.
No, and well, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said yesterday, they literally minimized how much they showed her in the booth or in her VIP suite, but yet literally as soon as the one or two times that it happened popped up, all of a sudden you have in great freaking
Mhm.
deep south sports reporters who shall remain nameless. Skip Bayless.
Nobody takes that fool seriously, except for the
No,
people just like
I
him, and we don't like them either.
I have hated him for a long time. I
Yeah,
cannot
me too.
stand him.
I,
And honest, honest to God, this goes back to the shit that he talked about freaking Richard Sherman back when Richard Sherman was first coming in the league as a Seahawk. And
oh, he was always shitty about the Thunder too, so I'm with you. He's garbage.
well, yeah, and he's a staunch San Antonio Spurs supporter and
Yeah.
hardcore dem boys. Fuck
Ugh.
them boys.
Well, no, I don't care about who he
Um,
supports. I care about
wow,
that he is
10 minutes
so
of ranting and raving.
he's just backwards. But well, his problem yesterday was that, and I am not saying everybody when I say this because I know you're not one of these people, but some of these men cannot stand to see powerful women, let alone two very successful, powerful women together enjoying sports. Like Skip's having to turn it into a Caitlin, you're bigger than Taylor. First of all, she's not, but it doesn't matter. They're not there for your commentary on whether or not they should be talking to each other, whether they should be there. Caitlin's always been a huge Chiefs fan.
Mhm.
Taylor's there to support her boyfriend. Just let them live their fucking lives. It's like these women can't exist without men picking them apart. It pisses
No,
me off.
I, honest to God, said it last year when the whole thing started. It's not the fact that they show Taylor during the games that annoyed the hell out of me. It was every freaking 5 seconds, something. Patrick Mahomes farted on the sideline. Whoop! Turn the camera around and show Taylor in the freaking VIP suite again.
But that's the NFL.
And
That's not her fault.
I agree. I'm not saying that it's
No,
her
I
fault
know.
by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying it's Mahomes' fault, Kelsey's fault. It's all on the NFL.
They
But
know what
it
they're
just
doing.
got freaking annoying as fuck. And it's like I'm trying to watch a football game. Quit putting the camera back
But
on
if you're
her.
not missing the game, who cares? That's my point. Like they're not cutting away from
Yeah.
plays, to show her. So it's like I I I guess I just
It's not like Travis is catching a ball at the 50-yard line, streaking down the damn sideline. Oop, let's interrupt his run and turn around and show what her
right.
reaction is.
If they were interrupting the game to
No.
show anybody in the stands, celebrities or not, that's when it's a problem. But if you're not missing any
Yeah.
of the game, who gives a fuck? Just turn your eyes away if you don't like it. I don't mean you. I just mean
Yeah.
like the people that are still
No,
bitching about it
exactly.
because they barely show her now.
Well, and how many people have grown up watching Laker basketball?
Exactly. Or
How
Knicks
many times
basketball.
how many times did they freaking show Jack Nicholson? Every
Mhm.
freaking time the Lakers are playing.
How many fucking times do they show Matthew McConaughey in any Texas game? And people fucking love it. Everyone's like, oh, show more Matthew. Oh,
Well,
we want to
he's
see Matthew's
the
reaction. It, I mean,
unofficial ambassador of the culture for Texas,
again,
or whatever the hell
I
that damn job
swear
title is.
I'm not trying to make everything about sexism, but I just feel like if Taylor was a guy, these men wouldn't be bitching because it's women in men's
Oh, I'm
spaces
sure.
and they don't like it. But anyway, that's not what
And
we're here to talk about.
pretty
But
much, well, I mean, we are technically here to talk some sports,
that is
but
true.
we're not even here to talk about the sport that we were talking about. But we do have a comment from MG who made reference to the fact that hate is such a strong word, but appropriate. And I'm sure that's in reference to the fact that when I said I hate Skip Bayless.
I
So
hate it too. It's all right.
it is a very appropriate word. And anybody who loves sports the way that Amanda and I love sports, and I know that there's people out there that do and can appreciate the heat that he has with people like Richard Sherman, Shannon Sharp, so many other Jalen Rose,
Yeah.
whoever. I mean, about the only negative thing that ever comes out of his mouth that I'll agree with is anything he says about LeBron James. But other than that, his opinion is horseshit. So, um, aren't we here to talk about a movie today?
I think we are.
Well, I don't remember what day it was, but to lead off with that, the other day, if you're a hardcore baseball fan, generally you would have to be a hardcore baseball fan to pretty much or love this movie to know who this gentleman is. But Baseball Hall of Famer Bob Uecker passed away, and we were going to be talking about Can't Buy Me Love this week, but we called an audible and decided to pivot and talk about this movie instead to pay tribute to him because at the same time, in my opinion at least, and I'm pretty sure my co-host agrees with me, um, dude freaking stole this movie with the little bits that he
Yeah.
was in the movie. So we should pay tribute to him. So we're going to talk about the original, the OG, the better than part two version,
Yeah, George.
George Kohlhofer, um, original Major League. So
Yes. I'm texting him
not
and talking
saying
about him.
not saying that Major League Two is a bad movie. I
Oh,
enjoy
no.
both. I enjoy all three of them. Three probably the least of the three, but
There's a third one?
oh yeah,
I did
Major
not
League
know that. What a shame.
Major League back to the minors.
Ugh.
The only person. Wait, I'm trying to who. Uh, yeah. Roger Dorn, Pedro,
Mm.
and the Japanese guy from Major League Two
Oh.
are the only ones that come back for the third movie, and it's Major League back to the minors.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, miss me with
but
that.
it's it's not a horrible movie, but it's not necessarily something to write home about either.
Yeah.
Um, but so while we are getting warmed up, for those of you that care to know, Major League released on April 7th, 1989. It was directed and written by David S. Ward. It was released by Paramount Pictures, had an $11 million budget, and made a whopping $5 million box office. If you have not seen it and you are still here along for the ride, we appreciate you. Um, but you can also find it on Prime as well.
Yeah.
So you can check it out there. And then I'm hoping, knock on wood, that my co host hasn't done her research. But would you like to wager a guess as to what the Rotten Tomato score is for this amazing movie?
Yes. I feel like this movie is really, really loved. But again, you never know with Rotten Tomatoes because of who's reviewing it and when. I mean, this movie came out a long time ago. I'm going to be generous with the popcorn meter and I'm going to go with,
Almost 35, 36 years ago.
yeah, I'm going to go with 87% on the popcorn meter. I'm being really generous and you know I always overshoot, but that's what I'm going to go with. Um,
No comment.
oh no. Well, it is what it is.
Uh,
Tomato meter. Let's say 74%.
so on the popcorn meter with 50,000 plus reviews, you did what you normally do and overshot by 3%.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. There was a
84% on
spread.
the
I
popcorn
could have
meter.
got it. What? Sorry.
84% on the popcorn meter.
Okay, nice.
You went against your huge on the tomato meter,
Oh, really? Okay.
and you totally undershot
Okay.
the tomato meter. But on 41 reviews, the audience and the critics are in agreement to the extent of 1%, but
Oh, nice.
83, 83% on the tomato meter.
Okay.
So,
I like it.
yay! You did good this week.
Good.
we'll see how you handle next week when we're back to start the rom coms
Well,
or Tay Tay or Daisy Jones and the Six or whatever we. Wow, that's the conclusion all wrapped up in the opening.
yeah. Have you finished that book yet, by the way? Daisy Jones and the Six?
Mm, that
Close?
close. For those of you who don't know, I literally was my first finger and my thumb are almost touching. So
So, have you gotten to the part where they talk to the interviewer, or where the interviewer asks some? Okay, never mind. I can't ask this without ruining it. So, if you know what I'm talking about, you've already gotten there. If you haven't, you'll know when you get there.
I'm guessing it's coming up rather quickly because I have not gotten there.
Okay.
But I'm
The
should be there hopefully maybe tonight because I think that's what I'm going to spend the evening doing is
the
trying to finish that so that we can sit down and get the series watched.
okay. This won't
Because
really spoil it. So, the interviewer is not some rando. It's somebody that's already been mentioned in the book.
oh,
So, that's all I'll say.
I'm in, I'm in, and is this the freaking plot twist that you were?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
It's not like a Darth Vader plot twist or anything, but it's an
Well, no,
interesting twist that really it adds to the story. And when you go back and think about what you've read, it it
makes
okay,
sense.
it makes you look at it a little bit differently. But I don't want to say anything else. You gotta, yeah,
So I'm guessing Kathy is in agreement with you that the series for Daisy Jones and the Six is outstanding.
yes. Kathy is correct.
So
It is amazing.
so in case everybody doesn't know, my birthday and or the fourth anniversary of an evening at the movies is coming up in a couple weeks, and that will be the subject of said episode. So I am scrambling trying to get the book done so that Amanda and I can watch Party the series because she wants to watch it with me.
Yeah,
So we will get that done, and we will be back. Oh Jesus, our usual live day is Super Bowl Sunday.
yeah. So
We'll figure it out. We may go live on Saturday that week instead of Sunday, but we will celebrate my birthday and an evening at the movies all at the same time.
all right,
So, are you ready to let the listeners know what this amazing baseball movie is about?
I am ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
The new owner of the Cleveland Indians, former showgirl Rachel Phelps, has a sweetheart deal to move the team to Miami. But to break the lease with the city of Cleveland, ticket sales have to plummet. So Phelps hires the most incompetent players available, including near blind pitcher Rick Vaughn and injury prone catcher Jake Taylor. But her villainous tactics accidentally foster a can do team spirit, turning the Indians into potential winners. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. So, of course, I can do it. I am freaking amazing, and it's good to have you here too, Kathy.
Thanks,
Um,
Kathy.
it's good to have Amanda here as well.
Duh.
And why in the okay there? So, um, this is a freaking incredible movie. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it falls very much into that stereotypical sports movie trope
Yeah,
of
for sure.
pure underdogs always rise to the top. I mean, at the end of the day,
This
um,
movie walked so the replacements could run, which I know
yeah,
is a football movie, but
no, but the way everything plays out in this movie and seeing the second movie, I also appreciate the fact that Okay, so you have a really shitty team that hasn't won shit in decades, since I believe it was 58 or 56 or something like that, would whenever the last time was that the Indians won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And they rise up to, you know, as the manager says, make sports writers eat a nice big old shit burger and also stick it to the owner. But, you know, in that gap between the end of part one and the beginning of part two, you also realize they didn't just Cinderella story it all the way to winning the World Series either. They Cinderella'd it into the playoffs and then lost to the Chicago White Sox in the first round.
Yeah.
So, but we're not talking about part two because part one is better than part two, and George can go eat a Buckeye.
I love the for I mean, I know we're gonna get into this, but obviously Bob Uecker as Harry Doyle just like stole the show. But I love that like what you're talking
Oh
about,
yeah,
that reminder. He's like, just a reminder, fans, coming up is our Die Hard night here at the stadium. Free admission to anyone who was actually alive the last time the Indians won a pennant. So
right.
funny.
Because
Because it's been
well,
that
and that's the
long.
beautiful part about. So I didn't realize it until I was watching the rewatch for the 1 trillionth time. Hi, Pearl.
Pearl's back. Guess who's back? Back
Back
again
again. Pearl's back. Tell a friend.
to fuck with all my stuff.
Um,
Okay.
um, so yeah, I was rewatching this movie for the trillionth time
Mm-hmm.
this last week, and I was watching it on Prime, and it popped up on the fun facts that pop up in the corner time to time
Oh, mine
that
didn't do that.
his whole entire role was not even all of Bob Uecker stuff was ad lib.
That's amazing too. I love that. You know what? Just a little bit
Well, and
outside.
I think it helped.
Ball four, ball eight. Sorry.
I
You're so
think it
funny.
helped the whole situation feel a lot more natural.
Yeah. And that was his day job at that point too. So it was like,
Well, yeah, he because at the time he was commentating for the Milwaukee Brewers, so
right. This guy threw at his own son during a father son game.
I you almost everything that comes out of his mouth in this movie is comedic gold.
It is, yeah.
I mean,
The post game
just a
show
bit
is brought to
outside.
you by, Christ, I can't find it.
To hell with it. Or, you know, the Indians lose on, 6-0 on 4 earned runs and one goddamn hit. That's
God
all we got. You can't say goddamn on the air. Oh, nobody's
nobody's
listening
listening.
anyway. I mean,
So funny. I mean, obviously, this movie is so quotable, and we're about the same age, so this is a movie we grew up watching. I mean,
mhm,
my brother and I. So when we were really small, I mean, I've said this before, we were super poor, and then even when my mom remarried, we weren't like poor, like I would say, just like middle class, like we weren't hurting for anything, but we didn't have a lot, so. And especially both our parents worked. So especially in the summertime before, I was old enough to drive, all we did was sit at home and watch movies. So this was one we had on repeat all the time. Like there was a handful of about 10 80s to 90s movies that we just watched over and over, and this is one of them. And it's so funny. This is another one of those movies that as you get older, some of the jokes get funnier because you realize what they mean. But even as a kid who doesn't know anything, this movie is still just funny. I mean, the whole with Serrano, like all the
Oh yeah.
snake. It's like that. I didn't even know what voodoo was or whatever, but who cares? I just
No.
thought it was hilarious. And then Hayes is there with his little bitty snake, his little garden snake. So
This
funny.
this movie is so freaking. I mean, and it's not just Bob Uecker's performance that makes this movie either. I mean,
No,
um, Wesley Snipes is freaking hilarious. Tom Berenger is freaking hilarious.
Charlie Sheen.
Wackadoo Charlie Sheen is freaking
Yeah.
hilarious. You know.
And the coach. I just
Oh yeah.
and I still like my favorites. I say this all the time, even when any reason that I can say this, I don't know why, but I just love this quote. Well, you may run like Maze, but you hit like shit.
Yeah.
Like it's not even applicable to a lot of situations, but any chance I get to say that, I just always say it. It's so funny.
No, it's
What
an
did they say?
amazingly freaking hilarious line.
He was
And a
like,
lot
every
of
time
stuff that
you
comes.
do that, you owe me 20 push-ups. And then he starts doing it during the game.
Well, and it never made sense to me as a kid watching this movie, but what he's trying to teach Hayes is the fact that being the number one hitter in the lineup, it's not his job to hit the ball out of the freaking ballpark. It's his job to get on so
Right.
that the big bats that come right behind him in the lineup can to maximize the run production, not just two or three runs at one time is better than one run at a time. So it makes sense, but there's so much stuff that he does in this movie that between the push-ups and the sit-ups for Dorn and the Dorn trying to be the diva that he is, and I have it
And
in
now
my
I'm about to defaced
contract
this
that I
property.
don't have to freaking do any calisthenics that I don't feel necessary, and then
Yes.
doesn't even say a word, just takes the contract from him and throws it on the ground, whips it out, and pisses all over the contract.
You know what I love that they show in this movie, and they show it in other movies too, but this is the first time I ever really remember seeing it is them talking shit to each other, like the catcher and the hitter talking shit to each other.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you just got to know that stuff really happens, especially like trying to distract him. He's like, Rick's like, what do I do about it? And he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of it. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
your wife's a good looking woman. And man, that guy she was with, what was he doing wearing her panties on his head? Oh, I don't think this one's got the distance.
Well, because until I'd seen this movie, I had never really paid attention. I think I saw this movie and um, Bull Durham about the same time.
Yeah.
I think this one might have been a little bit before Bull Durham because this is like one of the first times I remember wholeheartedly realizing that like the Yankee first baseman's talking shit to Hayes all the time, trying to distract him.
Yeah.
Um, you have Jake Taylor trying to talk shit to the freaking hitters at the plate, and all that's like, okay, that really doesn't. And people are like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you want to
that
know.
shit really
Now,
does happen.
every time I watch, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if they're talking shit. What are they saying? Or for all you know, they could be catching up on like last night's Lakers game. You're like, oh, did you see that shot that, you know,
Mhm.
Kobe did or what? Like, you never know. It's just like,
Yeah.
but I like to think they're talking shit. So I think that would be better.
Well, I mean, these people spend 6 months out of the year together on the road in the game, whatever. Baseball's not just a freaking, you play once a week and, you know, game's over, see you next season kind of thing. For most of these teams, they play each other like 19 times a year over 6 months, and they spend all this time together, and it's just, I'm
Yeah.
going somewhere with this, and I don't know exactly where
Well, it's kind of like when you watch. I mean, it's like watching any sport, basketball, football. You see these people on the court, on the field,
I'm
whatever.
going.
They
Exactly.
obviously they're competitors, but then you also see them during breaks chatting with each other, or like patting each other on the back. Like these people know each other. So they've played, the way trades go and stuff. Some of these people have played with each other and now they're playing against each other. So yeah, there's a lot of competition and there can be a lot of like, um
Well,
uh,
like I remember growing
crap,
up,
that's the word I'm looking
the
for. But
quote
there's a lot
unquote.
of camaraderie too.
Yeah, I remember the controversy of every time the Lakers and the Pistons got together to play a game back in the '80s. How you always had Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas hug and kiss each other on the cheek before the game. Like people were up in arms, like, oh my God, the Lakers and the Pistons stars are getting along, and
Oh my god,
yeah,
people being
exactly,
people? No.
exactly. And it's like,
But people forget that.
no, because you have your hardcore favorite team, and you follow them, and you expect, yeah.
I mean, the rivalries are always there, and the big ones are always the big ones, and you can definitely see it on the field or the court or whatever when things get chippy. But at the end of the day, most of these people are, friendly off the job. Now, there are some people that I think are just assholes in real life. Patrick Beverly, what's his face? Whose name I don't even like to say. Your guy. Why am I blanking on his name?
The mouth guard.
No, not Steph. Just bothered me because of the mouth guard. I don't think he's a shitty person. I'm talking about the other guy. What is
Oh,
that guy's name? Why am I blanking?
I'm not saying shit. If you can't remember, then that's on you.
It'll come to
But
me while we're talking. It'll just come to me out of the middle of nowhere, and I'll shout
but
it, and people will be like,
his
"What?"
last name
But you know who I'm
is
talking
a
about.
homonym for the color of the grass.
Oh yeah, Draymond Green. There it is. Fuck that guy. Draymond Green and Patrick Beverly can just fuck off. But anyway, we're getting away from the topic. But yeah, you realize that these people like know each other, and yeah, they may talk shit, but and I like this movie too because it definitely shows how the team itself, they're a whole team of strangers and how they kind of start to come together. Like just with them reading the little comics of the books, like he's reading the Cliff's Notes version of Moby Dick so he can get back with his ex, but they're all like sharing them and stuff. And
Well, okay, I mean, at the end of the day, that seems like something. I mean, if you look at Jake as a whole from the outside, he doesn't strike you as somebody who's just going to sit down and read a classic piece of literature like Moby Dick
right.
or Crime and Punishment or whatever.
When Doran throws that one at Ricky's like, oh, here's one that's right up your alley. He throws Crime and Punishment at him. Doran is such a dick.
He
But he
is,
turned it around at the end. A
but
little.
yeah, they definitely, well, they have their redeeming moment, and that's one of my favorite moments of this movie because you have the whole uh, Ricky finds out that he's not going to get to start the one game playoff with the Yankees, and that they're going to go with the old man,
Yeah.
and
And I have
he's
a
at the
question about that too in a second.
okay. He's sitting at the bar having a beer, drinking his sorrows away, and this hot blonde comes up and starts flirting with him, and he ends up taking her home, and wham bam,
Yep.
thank you, ma'am. And come to find out the next morning when they wake up and she's getting dressed and ready to go, that not only is she a hot blonde, but she's also the hot blonde wife of the third baseman on the team, aka Roger Dorn.
Yeah. I love when she walks out, she's just like, bye, Jake. Or hi, Jake.
And he's all like, "Oh shit,
And then you see Rick and he's just like, I
I
didn't know
didn't
who she was.
know." Well, he's a rookie; he wouldn't know. I mean, it's not like they hang out together and are in the same social circles.
Maybe that's why you get a girl's name before you screw her. I don't know. I mean,
Well, I mean, this
just
is
saying.
also is the '80s, and things were. And I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent because it's not, but things were a lot different back then than what they are now.
So
But really quick, I mean, they have their moment. Jake tries to keep the two of them apart throughout the whole entire game, but
yeah,
then come to find out, when the shit hits the fan, Ricky's getting called into the game, and before at the worst possible time,
right.
Roger
The
takes
worst
the
possible
initiative
time.
to come up to leave third base, walk to the mound, and take the ball from him and literally stare him up and down with that long dramatic pause. And he's like, "Let's cut to the crap. I only have one thing to say to you," and it's like, "Oh fuck, here we
You're
go."
like,
And then he just strike this motherfucker out, and then gives him the ball back and walks back to the damn mound
yeah.
or walks back to the base, and it's like, okay,
Oh, thank
but
God.
then payoff at the end, celebration, celebration, celebration. They meet in the middle of the crowd. Roger knocks him on his ass with a punch,
Yeah.
but then they get up and hug each other. So
It kind of reminded me of like Iceman and Maverick. It was
yeah,
like that kind of moment, but without the punch, obviously.
well,
And I don't
Ice never bagged Charlie, but
right. I mean, I don't mind that Dorn punched him because he didn't know that he didn't know. I mean, the guy slept with his wife. I'd be pissed too. Although you
oh
should be
yeah,
pissed at her, but also if I was her, I might have done the same thing. I see you see him on TV, like all over some chick taking her up in in the elevator. Yeah, I'll go sleep with the guy on your team you hate the most. That's why I said last night when I was messaging, I was like, look at her dressing for revenge on her vigilante shit again. Because that's what I
well,
would have done too.
oh no, I'm 100% not saying that she was not justified in what she was doing. I mean,
Like,
she
I'm
literally caught him red-handed doing the exact same thing that she did to him.
well, no, he was playing
Well, no,
checkers and she was playing chess.
well, yeah,
She didn't fuck his best friend. That would have been bad enough. She fucked his
he
worst enemy.
loaded the gun. She just pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
That's what I was
She
meaning.
knew it. I would be scared of her.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, divorce pending. Ooh, somebody's getting taken to the cleaners.
Yeah, Roger's worth a lot more money now.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing I
So,
wouldn't have done if I was her is told him right before he went to the game. Because when you're playing chess, you got to play the long game, and the long game is if I want to take him to the cleaners, I got to make sure they win this game so I don't want him distracted. It was a
yes.
good petty thing to do, but if you're really after the money, you wait till after the game. Make sure he cashes that paycheck and then you go after him.
Oh yeah, 100%. Exactly. Um,
But you know, it's a movie.
I always felt in my heart that yeah, telling him right before the game was kind of a stupid thing to do.
I love it for the pettiness, but it wasn't the smartest thing to do.
No.
Okay, so I have a question. I don't know why I've never asked anybody this or even thought to Google it. Is this a flaw in the movie or is this how it would really happen? Why is Rick not in the dugout with them? Like, why do they have to call him and he has to come out from the locker room or whatever? Just because he's not starting, the whole team doesn't go to the dugout?
So, okay, the
I mean, was that just for dramatic effect or is that what they really do? I guess is
no,
what I'm
that's what they really do.
asking.
So the relief pitchers are all positioned out in the bullpen, which is generally out in the outfield,
Right.
so that they have plenty of room that when it's time for the coach is ready for wants them to get ready, they have room to actually warm up their arm and can actually throw. Where
Well,
if
yeah,
they're
I
in
know they have to warm up.
yeah, where if they're in the dugout, then you have a lot less room to do that per se, and you don't necessarily have a whole hell of a lot of time to do it. So you have to go balls to the wall as hard as you can to try and get warm, so that you can get in the game and hopefully stop the bleeding.
Go Pearl. Yeah.
So But
Because I
yeah,
just
no,
like
that
you want the whole team together for the team spirit or whatever. But yeah, I guess I get that.
yeah, generally the relief pitchers aren't hang out by yourself.
Yeah.
We've got spirit, yes we do. We got spirit. Go out to the fucking bullpen.
Exactly. Okay, well, so I guess should we talk about the lovely Renee Russo in this movie? She's so pretty. And she's so young. Everybody's so young in this movie. It's so cute. Um,
Well, okay, before you get to Renee really quick though, I promised last night that I would look up something for you. Evidently Mr. Behringer is still making movies,
I just haven't seen him in a minute.
not necessarily as prominently as he was back in the 80s and 90s, but he's still, I mean, he was nominated for an Academy for Platoon. He
Yeah.
had the two major league movies. There was rumor for a while of a potential fourth major league movie that both
Mhm.
he and Charlie Sheen were both on board for. Um,
He was in The Big Chill. I remember that.
he was in The Big Chill. He's done. I mean,
I mean, I think he's done a lot, but
he's got a direct to stream movie coming out last year, so he's still out there working. He hasn't done TV as much lately. He hasn't done a TV according to his Wikipedia since like 2017.
oh, I just remembered I was like, I was thinking last night, sorry, when I asked you this, there was a movie that I could picture him in that I remember I really loved in the 90s and that he was kind of a smarmy guy in, and it just clicked in my head. Sliver. I forgot that he was in Sliver with Sharon
Oh
Stone and
yeah, he was
Billy
Billy
Baldwin.
Baldwin,
Oh God, Billy Baldwin was so hot in the
Sharon
90s.
Stone.
Sliver was not that great of a movie, but I would still watch it over and over for him. That and Backdraft. Oh my God. I've seen Backdraft
Oh,
so many times and it was not for the movie. No, I'm just kidding. It's a really good movie, but whew, Billy Baldwin.
yeah. No disrespect intended, but it was purely a follow up vehicle to Basic Instinct with
Oh
Sharon
yeah,
Stone.
definitely. I mean, I thought I had a, not that we're talking about this movie, but I thought it did have a decent plot twist that I can't remember their names, but that Billy Baldwin's character ends up being the guy and that he's like watching everybody. Like that was pretty creepy.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I'm not saying
yeah, it
I don't.
wasn't like a great fantastic movie, but I liked it. It was decent.
Sliver's not a great movie, but it's a movie that you know I
Yeah.
think it would be fun to discuss on this show.
But that's the other Tom Berenger movie. I kept trying to think of it last night and I meant to Google it and then I forgot. And then just now when we were talking, I was like, that I kept picturing his face in it too. And I couldn't remember what movie it was. Okay.
Well, yeah, because at one point he's actually quote unquote accused of being the creepy stalker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we should save this for
Yeah. I do
poss.
that movie. But anyway.
I
Tom
bet you would
Berenger.
do that movie. You know, it would be a fun movie for three co-hosts to be a part of. Do you know
Yeah.
who I'm thinking as the third one?
Shanna or uh
Okay, four.
Sir whose name was changed to go into witness protection.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Four. Shanna,
Yeah.
he who shall not be named because he's in witness protection.
Bob.
You and
We're gonna start
you and
calling
me.
him Bob. The artist
Oh,
formerly known as Chansey is now Bob.
so okay, Shanna, Bob, you and me.
Yes.
That would be an interesting discussion, especially with Bob's off-color commentary.
Oh,
So,
okay. So my dad left a comment. Said her first film role, so young. Are you talking about Renee Russo? I'm, I'm guessing he is. because that wasn't Sharon Stone's first role, I don't believe. Because Basic Instinct was before. Yeah, Renee Russo's so young in this, and yeah, she's
Total Recall was Sharon Stone's first major role,
oh
I
okay.
believe.
I forgot about Total Recall. um,
What about Bob?
oh, I got to tell you about Bob later. I'll Bob entered witness protection and won't be here for a
Oh,
bit.
that's right. Cause your dad wasn't
Yeah,
here for that episode where. Uh-huh.
Bob is off the grid, like the Unabomber. Except not because,
Bob
but anyway,
Bob is in witness protection, and your daughter will gladly explain the ins and outs of the haha wink wink joke about that. So
so I feel like I know that they had to do it for pacing for the movie and whatever, but I feel like she kind of ditched her fiance and went back to Jake pretty fast.
yeah, there was like no conflict at all in
Yeah,
that.
like there's no, I mean, she's like they have sex. She's like, this doesn't change anything. We've always been good at this. And then next thing you know, they're at
They're
that
back.
game and she's there and she's like showing off her hand with no ring on it. I was like, for all that shit she talked about him, she sure was quick to leave, Joe
Evidently
Schmo
the
up there in his penthouse. That guy was a
evi-
douche. I don't blame her.
evidently the Taylor D is phenomenal because she gets it one time and she's back with him. So
I'd smash. You know who else can get it in
I
this
bet you
movie?
would.
Pedro Serrano can get it. I'm telling you.
He
He
is
was so sexy.
probably after Bob Uecker's character, after Harry Doyle in this movie, Pedro is probably my second favorite character in the entire movie. Just because
Mine's Willie. But yeah. Fuck you, Joe Boo. I do
everybody is so freaking good in this movie that it's
hats
ridiculous.
for bats.
But yeah, I mean,
He just
it's
takes
like,
things like, hey, are you a golfer? Hats for bats.
what's your handicap? Okay, but
Yeah.
even like
Funny.
favorite, one of my favorite things that he says in the whole movie, it's one that I go around quoting more often than I probably should, is the whole um, Harris telling him I wouldn't leave that rum around here with this bunch of fools.
Yeah.
And Pedro gets right up in his face. He's like, "It's very bad to steal Joe Boo's rum. It is very bad."
Speaking of that part, here's another one that I say it anytime I get a chance. Are you trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? Fucking love that line. Anytime somebody even says Jesus, that pops into my head. Like I don't always say it, but that line always pops into my head. Oh, so funny.
Well, because it even because they're sitting there having this conversation, and that's literally right before the whole "Don't steal Joe
Yeah,
Boo's rum." But they're all asking about what the hell, and Harris comes up and he's like, "You know, did you ever think about taking Jesus Christ as your savior instead of messing around with all this voodoo mumbo jumbo?"
yeah.
And he's like, "Ah, Jesus, I like him very much, but he no help with curveball." And he's,
Trying
"Are
to
you
say,
trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?"
oh my! I just love that part. It was so funny, and I do love the way he said, "Ah, Jesus, I like him." He's so funny. Yeah, I just anytime I used to say it a lot. I don't say it as much anymore. Um, this is not on that same topic, but another one. Anytime a song comes on, I don't like. I hate this fucking song. I always say it like that. Uh,
Well, because that's the whole thing with like they come in and they call Ricky in out of the bullpen, and the whoever and the control room cues up the song and they play Wild Thing
You make
as a
my heart.
celebration of him coming in, and the owner who's trying to get the team moved to Miami is like, I hate this fucking song.
But I just love the
Which
way she says it. She's just like, I hate this
this
fucking song.
no, because in the second movie it's more overdone. It's more, oh, not again.
Oh. No, I love the chill way she says it. It's just so funny. Like, I
It's
hate
like
fucking song.
I'm getting fucked in the ass, and they're not using lube. Not trying to be graphic, people, but
Are you sure?
you're just like, damn it. Like, I almost had my win, and now this shit's gonna happen.
Yeah. I think Willie Mays Hayes is probably like one of my favorite like secondary character. They're at the restaurant and Jake's like, "That's my wife." He goes, "Does she know that?"
Uh,
Uh, and then
no dis
Rick's like, "You want me to take him out back and beat the shit out of him?"
no disrespect to Omar Epps, but that was one of my probably my least favorite parts of Major League Two was
No, Wesley
them
Snipes.
recasting Wesley with Omar.
Yeah,
Not saying that Omar didn't do a good job, but
yeah.
again, very rarely do you ever surpass the original. And
Well, George is washing
Wesley
dishes,
made the
but I
original.
should get him over here because he disagrees. George thinks Major League Two is way better than the original.
Yeah, that's your son-in-law, Michael.
Yeah. He goes, "How can you watch this one? It doesn't even have Randy Quaid." I'm like, so? But no, that is a hill George will die on. Major League Two is better. Um,
No, no, no. I mean, it's not horrible, like we
no.
said off camera before the show, but it's just I've got aspects of the second one that, and maybe eventually we'll get around to part two, and we can have George come on the show, and
Yeah.
we can double team him and beat him into submission.
No. That dude never changes his opinion about anything. Have you met him? But
I
no,
have met
his
him.
favorite. I know you have. So I wanna kind of turn the conversation a different way because we're talking about how funny this movie is, which obviously it is. It's hilarious, but it is also, like an underdog story. And I think like another one of my favorite quotes, and it obviously there's the whole build up when he comes out to the song, Wild Thing, and everybody's excited, and something really big's about to happen. He's
Mm,
about to pitch against that guy that he can never strike out. And I love when Jake comes up to the mound and he's just like, "This guy's the out you've been waiting your whole life for." Like, I get chills every time he says that because it's just like, it's so inspirational and
yep.
it's like, it's true. It's like, this is your moment, Rick. This is going to, like, this is your defining moment from
Make
your
her
career.
well because if you've watched the whole entire movie, you know how poorly Rick was pitching in the beginning of the movie, and how evidently it was all hinged on him not being able to see very well. But they got him glasses, and it helped improve his pitching, but he still couldn't get this one guy out.
Yeah.
So it basically, this is your damn moment. This is gonna, define your career.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Are you going to get nasty and go after him, or you going to let him beat you down again?
That was the perfect way to say it. And yeah, every time I get chills. I do love when he gets his glasses and like this is another Willie thing. The coach like, "You can see, that's the most important thing." And Willie's like, "I don't think
I
it's
don't
that
think it's
important."
that important.
But he did update his glasses. They looked better on him at the end. So they still looked like birth
Well,
control
and
glasses, but
well, yeah, but and it isn't even necessarily the fact that he said that. It's still one of those things that it's the way he said it. He was like, I
Yeah,
don't think it's that important.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think I honestly, out of all the hilarious lines, I really do think that "this guy's the out you've been waiting your whole life for" is probably my favorite line in the movie
Well, and
because it just sums
still at the
everything
same
up.
time, yeah, it sums up the entire storyline, but still, it's not the payoff moment of the whole movie, though. Too at the same time, they still have you know a
Right.
whole another half an inning to go with you know Willie's got to get on base, Jake's got to hit him in, the whole and it hinges on him being able to steal
Yeah.
second base and all. I mean, it's an elaborate set of situations
Yeah.
or circumstances for them to actually get the win that they need so that they can get back into the playoffs.
I love him with the base stealing. That guy's like, "You going somewhere, meat?" He's like,
About
"About 90."
90 feet. So if you don't know baseball, it's literally 90 feet from first, 90 feet from second, 90 feet from third. It's a perfect square.
Yeah.
So
Well, so was there anything else you wanted to cover before we get to the next part in our reviews?
debuting our new segment.
Yeah.
I feel like we should be able to debut our new segment now. I think we covered the basis of the movie very well.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Bob Uecker.
Yes. He was definitely a gem in this movie. And just, in life, he served in the military and he was a catcher and he was a sportscaster. He just, lived a very full life, mostly devoted to sports and definitely
Hmm.
a big loss. So, yeah, rest in peace, sir. Um, so for I don't know if I said this on the show last time or not, but anyway, people who don't know, I have my own podcast called The Sip List, and it was on break for most of 2024. I would say I probably only did like 6 or 7 episodes last year. I don't know, but it's around that amount. Um, Life is life, and we're building a house, and I've just got a lot going on, and so I really don't want to say it's canceled because I don't. The option to come back is going to be there, but for now, the SIP list is not going to be doing any new shows. I'm co-hosting this show, and we've got the network drafts, so that'll keep me busy enough. I hope to bring the SIP list back at some point, but for now, this is where we are. All that being said, I talked to Kasey about let's see if we can incorporate some SIP list, um, things into an evening at the movies. So with that, we have decided to do a top 5 at the end of every episode. For now, we're both doing the same topic. I think sometimes we could just pick whatever we want, and it's just something that has to tie into the movie that we're covering. But for today, we did the same topic, so we are going to real quick list out our top 5 favorite baseball movies. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Mm, I'll go first since you're running the segment.
Okay.
So, are we going to do it same as we did on the show? Worst to first?
Yeah, just you can just go ahead and say all your 5. Just start at 5 and go to 1, and
Okay.
say whatever you want to
So
say about.
my number five, my number four are the two that I was most conflicted about. Um, I may get a lot of heat for my number four, but number five is going to be The Natural,
Okay, that's a good
an
one.
all-time classic Robert Redford movie.
Robert Redford. Sorry.
Um, my fourth, my number four, You're Killing Me, Smalls,
Oh, okay.
is The Sandlot.
That is also my number 4. That's the only reason I'm saying is because we have it in the same spot.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, can't go wrong with the Sandlot.
Um, and then my one, two, and three are almost gimmies to be on any top five list for baseball movies. Um, it's just a matter of where you want to put them on your list. Uh, Field of Dreams, I have at number three. This movie, I have at number two. And number one, I have Bull Durham. And this movie and Bull Durham are almost literally interchangeable. They're
Yeah.
almost, to
I,
me, they're almost on the same level.
yeah. I like this one a little bit better, but they're both really good. Nice. Okay. Well, our lists are actually pretty different. So, except for two of them. My number five is a movie nobody ever talks about, and I actually haven't seen it in a while, but it's another one of those movies I watched a lot as a kid. Mr. Destiny with Jim Belushi.
Oh, I love that movie.
That movie is so like nobody talks about it, and I think
Hmm.
it's so cool. It's like almost like It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing where he gets to go back to this moment in time and redo things and whatever. And yeah, anyway, it's very cool. Number four was the
How would your
Sandlot.
life be if you had never lived? Yeah.
Yeah, or how would life be if you had hit that winning hit instead of missing it or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
My number three is Hardball. I love that movie. Gets a lot of hate, but I don't care. I Those little kids, their baseball team, it's another underdog story, and it's sad and it's a beautiful story and it's funny. So yeah, love it. Two is Major League, and one I can't believe you didn't have on your list. A League of Their Own. There's no crying in
Shit.
baseball.
I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, my
Damn.
all-time favorite baseball movie.
No, it's a great movie. And honestly, it's something that probably could bump The Natural off my top five. And I just don't know where the hell I'd put it.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of good ones. So,
I mean,
none of
baseball
those
is
are
a
bad
great
choices.
sport to have a movie written around
Yeah.
because so much goes into, you know, off the field, on the field, in the clubhouse,
Mhm.
all of it. It's like it adds, there's so much that, can factor into the whole story.
Yeah. Just Moneyball's another really good one,
Yeah.
and 42, obviously. I was surprised you didn't have Fever Pitch too, but yeah, there's just a lot of choices. So
Coming soon on an evening at the movies.
that is true. That is true. So
No,
anyway, I hope
and
you
it
guys enjoyed.
literally is based in one of my most favorite baseball moments of all time was the
Yeah.
2004 collapse of the Yankees and rise to fame of the Red Sox. So
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know, if you think this is a cool segment. I just thought it'd be a nice way to help incorporate a little of the fun parts of the SIP list into the show and just give us other things to talk about. You know, So we'll do a different
absolutely.
thing with each movie, and like I said, maybe Kasey will pick a topic and I'll pick a topic, and we'll have different ones, or we'll do the same one. And when we have guests, we'll let them do one too. So yeah,
And I know that there are people out there who have expressed sorrow over the fact that, you know, the SIP list is on a permanent ish hiatus.
yeah,
And they're sorry to see that happen. But, and this was just what we want, what Amanda came up with. And I agreed, it needs to happen so that, you know, the SIP list can still
mhm,
stay fresh in everybody's mind for the day eventually when it comes back.
yeah.
So,
And I'm thinking about maybe just doing one episode a month. So that's something I'm tossing around and just trying to figure out. I think the main problem for me is scheduling because, I'm free at different times and a lot of other people are free. And then, weekends can be kind of hard sometimes. And we're already doing this on Sundays, so it's
mhm.
just, which I'm not complaining about at all, but it's just, I think scheduling is part of it. And then also just me having the time to sit down and do everything. And there's also, the cost of StreamYard, $45 a month when I'm not even recording is just, that's
Yeah.
too much money. So, it's just things like that where I'm like, I'm not using it enough. I need to just, you know, put it on the back burner for now. And I hope the SIP list will be back. And if you guys want that, then definitely let me know. But for now, we got this, and I like, just incorporating a little bit into an evening at the movies. So
There's nothing wrong with incorporating the two shows together and harmoniously making beautiful podcast magic.
Yeah, exactly.
So, would
Well,
you like to give
yeah,
everybody your overall review of this classic, amazing movie?
I will. Yeah, Major League is has always been and will be one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite comedies. The comedy is so just on point and funny and well timed. The sports you get a lot of the sports in it, which is some movies are like sports themed or centric, but not really centered around the sport. And I feel like
Mhm.
this movie you get a lot of the inside stuff, like seeing how they are behind the scenes, how the injuries and aches and pains, and
The
kind of
shit
the
talking
shit,
behind the scenes.
yeah, the
You
team
don't.
dynamic. And you also get to see you get to see enough of the games that it's exciting, but not so much that it gets boring. So I feel like it's a good balance.
Well, that's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing is like you don't have. It's not like based like around one whole game where you're and not saying that For Love of the Game, another great baseball movie,
Yeah,
is because you kind of because with that being a perfect game, you kind of have to base the whole movie around that frame. Where this is about a season, so you're not going to want to have you know 3 or 4 innings of all these different games played out together. You're going to want little snippets to
right.
keep the movie moving along, and David Ward does an amazing job of splicing that all together and creating a harmonious flow of the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a perfectly balanced movie with the humor and the heart and the sports, and it just comes together to make a beautiful cinematic baby. So you know me, ratings whore. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Jobu tequila shots.
Rum.
Or rum, yeah, sorry. Up yours, Jobu. And
Very bad to steal Joe
then
Boo's
he gets
rum.
hit in the head with the bat. Anyway.
Ah, so yeah, I second everything that Amanda just said. This movie is almost perfectly seamlessly done. For if you're a sports diehard, you get enough of the sports and the behind the scenes stuff with that that it keeps you interested and engaged in the movie. If you know you're looking for more of the drama type story type stuff, you get that as well. So
But
they
it's not
weave
over.
it. Yeah, it's not overdone. It's not sappy. It's not whatever. It's all woven together in the perfect tapestry that could be a baseball movie.
Yeah.
And on top of it, it the movie is quotable as fuck. I mean, top to bottom, there's probably 100 lines in this movie that I would imagine both Amanda and I can quote back on a regular basis. Like at one point when I was in high school, I probably could have recited this whole movie
Oh,
back to
yeah.
people 100% and been 100% accurate with it. So, um, yeah, I'm going 5 out of 5 shit burgers.
Nice.
So,
He's
um,
gonna eat a big
great
shit
movie.
burger.
If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go and see it. It it's one of those movies where you don't have to be a hardcore baseball fan to appreciate
Oh,
this
not at
movie.
all.
So,
That's the other thing is they make it really understandable. I don't like
mhm.
I don't want to use this phrase in a derogatory way, but they dumb it down so that if you don't know anything about sports, you can still watch it and follow what's happening. They
Mhm.
use enough lingo for people that do know baseball to enjoy it, but they also dumb it down enough that if you don't know, you can still watch it and follow it and enjoy it, which I really
Well,
dig.
you may not necessarily know what the word is that they use, but within seconds of the word being used, you'll know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So they don't just, oh, well, you don't know, fuck you.
Yeah.
and move on with it. So uh, this was definitely a lot of fun, as
Yeah.
always. I'm glad to be back on the horrors with my co-host. Uh, it feels like it's been a while since we've gotten back into the flow of things, but life's been life in the last month or so, and an evening at the movies is definitely looking to evolve and continue to grow as a show. So we've got some good stuff coming up for you. Before I get to that, though, would you do you have anything you would like to say to wrap up? I would ask what you have coming up on the SIP list, but
Hmm. Feel like I just talked about that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. We've got what rom coms coming up, so I think we should be doing "Can't Buy Me Love" soon, and I don't
Can't
know
Buy Me Love.
what order we're doing them in, but you can. Yeah.
I don't think there was a definite order to it, but Can't Buy Me Love, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Fever
Hmm.
Pitch, and The Wedding Singer, and then Daisy Jones and the Six
Yeah.
for my birthday slash anniversary.
Well, Fever Pitch will revolve around Kendra's schedule, so we'll let y'all know when we know. But
Which is part of the reason why I don't know what order everything's coming in. And Can't Buy Me Love just kind of got thrown into the beginning because it's something that I know Amanda and I have seen it like
um,
this
yeah,
a
it's
trillion
another
and one
one just like
times.
this. I could
So
quote
it's
the
like,
whole movie like start to finish. Seen it a million times.
yeah.
One of my favorite movies ever.
And it's one of those that I knew because we did not have a new episode last week. So, but thank you, everybody, 100%. We're not worthy for all the support
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
on the notebook. The Notebook had an amazing run in viewership, so we appreciate your guys' love for that. But we wanted to get back out there and start getting back to work, and I just figured with everything coming up as quickly as it was and people's busy schedules, it might be easier to just throw an
Yeah.
easy movie that we may or may not have to rewatch out there.
Oh, I
And
definitely don't need to, but I will just because I
oh
love
god,
it. But no,
I I
I do not need a rewatch.
I, I already rewatched this, and it yeah, McDreamy the pimp.
Mm,
Need I say more?
yeah.
Um,
All right.
but
Well, this
yeah,
was fun.
this was a lot of fun. I enjoy this. We, as always, love the unpopped kernels. For those out in mysterious witness protection land, we miss you. Come
Yes.
home soon. Um, and I believe that's all we've got coming up. So, co-host, the floor is yours.
All right, guys. Have a good week. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. And we hope you come back for an evening at the movies. Goodbye.
Peace and no hair grease.
Just baseball grease.